Hello and welcome to the third instalment of Alice's Nifty Top 50, where I'm going through my 50 best games of all time, board games 2025 November. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a fantastic and wonderful day. We are going to crack straight on. We've got rid of numbers, 50 down to 31. They were obviously trash. They're gone. Got rid of the rubbish games. Now we're into the real great games. Numbers 30 down to 21. And game number 30. Let's just crack straight on. Game number 30 is Star Realms, a really brilliant two-player deck building game where you are in space. You're in the stars, in the realms of the stars, of course, at Star Realms. You start off, as with any deck building game, with just a whole load of rubbish cards. You've got, two have one fight and 8 that just have a coin. And then you draw cards, you buy cards, you improve your hand, you shuffle your hand in, and you draw new cards, and your hand gets better and better through the game as you buy better cards. And depending on which cards you take, you can do different things with your hand. If you are concentrating on red cards, that allows you to be pretty fighty, but also allows you to destroy some of your cards so you can get rid of some of your worst cards and only be drawing good ones. The green is fighty, 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 fight. The yellows are all about stopping the opponents having cards and also drawing more cards yourself so you get more cards. And the blues is all about having more money and being able to buy more and being able to trade more in some way. And so, usually you'd concentrate on maybe 2 of those factions that combine together for your game, depending on how that game goes. Really solid, fun, a beautiful game as you're doing this. You've got these bases. So, the idea is to attack the other person. Each person starts off with 50 life. And you attack them until they get down to 0. But you have to get through their bases first. So when you're buying cards, are you going to buy defensive bases or attacking cards? How much are you going to buy of each? What kind of combinations? Are you going to save up money to buy big things, or are you going to buy a whole load of smaller things? Loads of great decisions. I've had a lot of fun with this, both on the app, in which I've played lots and lots and lots of times, but also at the table, which is where I first played this with my son. We played this a lot. This is Star Realms, really good 2-player, not a long game. You can get it done nice and quickly. Setup is easy. It's just one stack of cards and you set them up correctly. Beautiful game, Star Realms. My number 30, always enjoy it, really beautiful. In number 29, another 2-play game, and this one is just gorgeous. This is called Targi, designed in 2012 by Andreas Steiger. Now, this has one of my favourite worker placement mechanisms of any game, and I've never really seen this before. You've got this grid of cards in front of you. You're staring at a grid of cards, and you can only place your workers on the outside of this grid. But where your workers intersect, if you go up from one and across from the other, those intersection points, you put the other workers. So you have 3 workers around the edge, and the 2 intersection spots in the middle of your 3 workers, you also place a worker. So it's really lovely trying to work out, what do I want on the edge spaces, but also what do I want in the middle? If there's a certain middle space you want, you have to put your men on the edge to orthogonally line up with it. But you can also say, if a coin comes out and they're very rare, and you're like, I've got to get that coin, but I can't get it straight away, but I can stop the opponent getting it, because if I go there, they can't go there to have the intersection. And so, this game, a lot of people I hear say, I don't like nasty games, apart from Targi, because it somehow makes that viciousness so part of the game that it doesn't feel vicious at all. And it's really a really lovely puzzle placing all these pieces down. And when you've done that, you then use your 5 people and do the card. That might be gather resources. That might be buy a Targia card. And those Targia cards, you're making your own tableau in front of you. And once you've completed your tableau, then you add up the points to who scores. And there's a robber that goes around the edge that is effectively the timer of the game. And when he gets to the end, the game is over. And you add up your scores depending on how you've built your Targia. Have you got lots of the same symbols in a row, which is, a mechanism that's been used in a lot of games before? Have you got lots of different symbols? Each target might give you an end game bonus. Some of them might give you instant bonuses. On each turn, are you gathering resources or are you building your tableau? You've got to do both. And when are you doing it and how? There's a lot to this game and there's a lot to master, and it really does matter where the opponent puts his people and what they're doing and what you're doing. Really, I think this is fantastic. I think it is fantastic. More people should be playing Targi. So go and play it. That is my number 29, Targi. Really enjoyed that one. Now next, a good family game. We've just had Star Realms, which is a 2-player game. Targi, a real 2-player game that's even more in-depth. Then we get number 28, Love No Thanks. Originally French, I believe Non Merci was the original game, I think. No Thanks. It's simply a set of cards numbered, I think, 1 to 35. And you don't want numbers. So if you ended up with a 1 and a 4 and a 6, whatever, that's fine, they're low numbers. You do not want the 35 and the 33. But you also have these tokens. And so you can choose not to. So a card gets laid out with a bit. And each person around the edge, you can either take that card and have it in front of you and it's worth points, but points are bad. Or you place one of your beans, one of your tokens, whatever you want to call them, on that card. And then you effectively move it on to the next person. The next person then decides, do they want the card or are they going to pay to not have it? But you've only got a certain number of these. So do you eventually think, you know what, I better have the card? But when you take a card, you get the tokens that are on it. And the tokens are good because they're worth negative points. And negative points are good. So at the end of the game, if you've got a lot of tokens, that takes your score off of your cards. And so it's always, say there's a card on there and you think, you know what, it's a high card and I don't want it. But it comes with a lot of tokens, which gives me a lot of power to not take future cards. So it's all, there's, you know, when is there enough tokens on it for you to think I'm going to take the risk of taking that card? But there's also the fact that if you end up with two numbers next to each other, say I end up with the 22 and the 23, if they're consecutive, only one of them counts. So suddenly everyone knows that I want that card, but they don't want that card. It's a big number. But so is it worth them stopping me getting it? Or is it worth them just ignoring me and kind of doing it? If I've got 18, 19, 21 and 22, and I'm just missing out number 20, that number 20 saves me all of those points. Massive card for me. Somebody will take that card just on purpose. So, but is it worth it for them? Is it worth getting the points? There's a lot to this game and it's really fun to play around the table. Learn it in seconds. So, you know, the game is learned in seconds and it's really great fun to play. This is No Thanks, my number 28. My number 27, I cannot believe this is a game. It makes absolutely no sense as a game. It is called Tenzi. I've never heard anyone on any channel talk about Tenzi. It's another one where I seem to be playing it and no one is talking about it. I think most people would probably tell me it's not a board game, but they are wrong because I like playing it in the same board game evening settings that I play board games. It is this simple. You've got 10 dice. Everyone's got 10 dice, their own colour. And someone says go, and you roll the dice, Yahtzee style, so you can pick, you know, choose to keep some and then roll other ones, choose to keep some, until all of your numbers are the same, at which point you shout Tenzi and you win. But there's other rules. That's the basic Tenzi. It could be Splitsy, where you need 5 of one number and 5 of another. It might be Diamonds, where you go, Pyramids, where you build a pyramid with your dice, as long as they've got the right numbers facing forwards. It could be Towersy, where you build towers with your dice, once you've got them in the right numbers. It could be you have to create a certain pattern that a card comes up. There are so many different rules, and they came up with, as you can see in the pack right there, 77 ways to play Tenzi. It's a whole new set of different Tenzi rules that you can then try and play. Tenzi is, well, I just can't believe they've made a living selling dice with some ridiculous rules attached to the dice. But I love it. Tenzi. It's the kind of game where you've played a couple of heavy games and you're like, right, everyone's got some dice, let's just have some fun. Really light family fun. At Christmas, when I've got like 8, 9, 10 people all with dice, rolling dice on the table. Board gaming is not just about the big crazy games. Sometimes you've got to play a little bit of Tenzi. And so Tenzi is number 27. Now, at 26... we had its big brother earlier. We spoke about Splendor and why I love Splendor, but my preferred way to play Splendor is Splendor Duel. Splendor, rubbish, gone, don't care anymore. This is Splendor Duel. The reason I like Splendor Duel more is I love games where I have multiple routes to victory. This one you can win by having 20 points. You can win by having 10 points in one column, or you can win by having 10 crowns on the cards that you collect. But also those crowns give you extra bonuses for every 3rd and 6th crown as well. So crowns are really interesting. Some cards have special bonuses which allow you to have another turn, or they allow you to steal a token off another person. The way that you collect tokens in this game is completely different to the original. Instead of just taking 2 tokens or taking 3 tokens and doing it in one of each colour in the rules, on this one you've got this grid. It gives you a grid of gems, and you can take 3, but they have to be in a line with each other. And if there is no 3 in a line, you can't take 3. unless you choose to replenish the board from the bag of all the gems that have been used, which is absolutely fine. But then the opponent gets a special privilege token, and on their turn, they get to do something special as well as doing their turn because you got the bigger choice of replenishing the board before you chose tokens. I think it's a really interesting open puzzle within the puzzle of the game of how to take your tokens. You use those to buy cards, which give you gems, which allow you to buy better cards, that give you gems, which allow you to buy better cards. You build your engine until the point that you've got either 20 points on your cards, or 10 points in one row, or column, sorry, or 10 crowns. It's a great game. It's great. It's tense. Sometimes both people are trying not to replenish the board, to not give the other person the thing, the privilege token. Sometimes you're like, have a privilege token. I want a better choice. I think it's great. I really enjoy playing it. Splendor Duel, my preferred method of playing Splendor. That is number 26. Number 25 is a new game. I've been playing it a few times online, and then I bought the physical version and I've got it to the table a few times, and I think it's just, it's so pretty. And it just feels nice and it looks nice, and sometimes aesthetics are as important as anything else. This is Harmonies. Harmonies is a game where you have a board, and you have to take 3 of these beautiful little tokens and put them on your board. On your turn, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're taking 3 tokens and putting them on your board. If that was the whole game, on your next turn, take 3 tokens, put them on your board. On your next turn, take 3. I'd love that game in itself. And you're trying to create, if you take yellow tokens, they need to be in groups of at least 2 to create fields. If you're doing the green ones, they just need to be as tall as they can to be trees. If you're doing the red ones, they need to be surrounded by lots of other colours because they're buildings. The blue ones are all on one level, and it's the longest river that you can create. The grey ones are mountain ranges, and they have to be connected to another mountain range, another mountain to create a mountain range. Kind of just a mountain on its own doesn't get you any points, but mountain range, suddenly you're scoring points about how high they go. Not only are you doing this though, you've got these animal cards, and so not only are you trying to score points by what they look like underneath, if you can also make them look like exact patterns to create these animal cards, you get to put extra tokens on and score more points. And in the end of the game, your points are pretty much 50-50 between how you've arranged your pad for just the basic underneath points, but also how many animals you've got and how you've arranged them to match the cards. And your half of your points ish come from both, and you've got to manage both at the same time. It's a really great visual puzzle. Which 3 do I take, and how do I arrange them to make sure? And sometimes you're like, but I don't want that one, so I'm going to have to waste that one because I need the other 2. I think it's pretty. I think it's fun. I think it's teachable. I think you can play it with anyone. It's not a deep, complex game, but it is a real puzzle for those people that really enjoy staring and trying to work out how the best to complete their puzzle. So that is number 25, Harmonies. Really solid game. I am a huge, huge fan. And we go on to 24. We're back to the family. We're back to sitting around a table and enjoying Sushi Go Party, or Sushi Go Party. I've been having a conversation with someone recently about how I say sushi or sushi. I think I say sushi and they say sushi, and they claim they're right, and I don't think it makes a difference. But who knows? You can tell me, sushi or sushi. Is it an oo or an u? Tell me in the comments, because I don't know the answer. In Sushi Go Party, there was a version called Sushi Go by Phil Walker Harding, and then he brought out the party version, which is what this is, with more and more cards and food options. You are drafting. You're open drafting. I look at a set of cards, and I pick one, and I pass them to the left, and I get one from the right. I pick one, and I pass them. So you know all the cards. You know what you're giving. You know what other people have the option to take. Are you going to take one that you know he needs? Are you going to take one because you need it? Whoever's got the most maki rolls will get a certain amount of points. Whoever's got the best nigiri gets a certain amount of points. If you can get a wasabi and then a nigiri, it triples those points. If you can get 3 sashimi, then you get 10 points. But if you only get 1 or 2, you get 0 points. Is it worth collecting? Are you going to risk trying to get a third one? Is it not going to come around? Might you try and get a third one and it never comes around? Then you've wasted 2. Who knows? And just this board game, this game comes with so many different options. In each game, you only play with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of card, I think it is. But there's 20 in the game. So on every time, you can just do a different combination. On one of them, you might be collecting this type of pudding. On another, you're collecting this type of pudding. On this one, you're having tea. On this one, you're doing this. So you've always got different options that get you different points in different ways. On some, you might be stealing cards of other people. There's so many different options. This game it's just set collection with drafting, and it's just really fun. And everyone loves sushi. Although I'm not a big fan. I don't like the cold ones. I like the warm ones, but not so much the cold ones. If I go to sushi restaurants, I'm not always the biggest fan, but I do love Sushi Go Party. And that is my number 24. So we move on to number 23, which is The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9. Now, I have heard that The Crew Mission Deep Sea is better, but I've never played The Crew Mission Deep Sea, which is the sequel. I've only ever played the original, and so this is the one that is on the list. Maybe take this as either game is fine, play whichever one, but this is the one that I have played, and therefore it's on the list. Now, this is a collaborative trick-taking game. Basic trick-taking. Someone lays a card, everyone must follow suit if they can, or throw away from a different suit if they can't. If you win, if you get the highest number of the suit that was originally laid, you win that trick, unless a trump gets played, in which case the trump will trump that and take the trick. That is just whist. That is just trick-taking games, ages old time, that my parents played with me when I was young. So you've got that, but the trick is here, the difference is you're playing as a team. You're not trying to win, you're trying to win as a group. So it doesn't matter if you win that trick, it's the correct person needs to win that trick. And that is by tasks. Each person on each round has a task, or everyone will have 1 or 2 or 3 or more. And it says, I've got to win the blue 7. Everyone knows that I've got to win the blue 7. So if I play the blue 9, whoever's got the blue 7 plays it, because they know that's then coming to me. And I have won that card. But it might be I've got to win the blue 2, which is a lot harder to win. So I've got to win the blue 2. Or it might be I've got to win the blue 9 or the yellow thing. Whatever your number is, I know, but I've also know that he's got to win that card. And that person over there has got to win that card. Or no one's allowed to win a card with a 9, which is the top number. Or no one's allowed to win a card with a trump. Or however you're going to have to manage this situation. You've got to really think, how can I manipulate this situation to make it so? And trying to do that as a team is brilliant. Especially when, if you're all on it and you're all good at trick taking, having that silent synergy of, yes, I know how to do it. Yes, I can do it. And without even talking to each other, which you're not allowed to do, you can make this work. That is fantastic. It's even funnier when one person isn't so good as everyone else. Say you've got 3 people playing and one of them is just not so good at trick taking. Watching them not have a clue what to do, they are having a laugh and enjoying it because it's so amusing not knowing what's going on sometimes. And we are laughing. You can enjoy this game in so many different situations. It's got a really good 2-player version where you together manipulate Jarvis, which is kind of like a botted kind of like third player that you manipulate. I think this is a great game. If you like collaborative games, if you like trick-taking, go for The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9. There is, by the way, a theme as you're looking for this planet. There's no theme. There's no theme. You can read the theme jargon that says, well done for completing that mission. You are now going to do a moonwalk. It's irrelevant. It just tells you what the next challenge is in terms of targets, and you do it from there. I think it's great. That is The Crew, Quest for Planet 9. Now, as we move on to number 22, this is the oldest game in my top 50, I assume. Dating from the year 1750 or so, this is Shut the Box. This is a game that I have played so much. That's it. I've played so much. I take this to a pub and we say, right, whoever shuts the box, whoever wins buys the next round. And you can just play so quickly. This game is it's just a phenomenal game. You roll 2 dice. And that 2 dice add up to a number. Say it adds up to the number 9. You could then knock down number 9. Or number 8 and 1. Or 7 and 2. 6 and 3. 5 and 4. You could knock down 4, 3, and 2. Okay, so that equals 9. So you could add that. So you could knock down multiples. Every time you roll a dice, you add up the dice, and you can knock down numbers that add up to that dice. At some point, you roll the dice, and you won't be able to knock down numbers that add up to that dice. When that happens, you add up the numbers that you've still got remaining, which are numbered 1 to 9, and that's your score. And you want the lowest score possible. So on one go, you might just be really rubbish and you might end up with loads of 30 points. On some days, sometimes you've only got the 5 left and you roll a 2 and a 3, you're like, yes! And you knock it down, you've shut the box, which, depending on the rules you play, can score you -5 points and you can do even better. And every time you're like, shut the box, I shut the box, and things like this. I teach this to kids in schools. When I'm working with the children in maths lessons, when I'm teaching maths, we're doing shut the box. It's great for mental arithmetic for them. They really enjoy doing it. And every time a kid shuts the box and the whole class goes, shut the box, and we have a big party when someone shuts the box. Why not? We like that game. The schools love that game. My friends love that game. I've played it so much. I take it to different places. It's thoughtless, but just enjoyable. That is Shut the Box. 1750. Very old game. Very beautiful game. One of my most played. And the last one on today's list, number 21, is a party game. And that party game is Just One. Just One is a really cool words game. It's a collaborative game where you're trying as a team to make someone know a word. So they pull a card out, and as you look at that book, it might be snow. So they pull a card and they say the third one down, and they don't know what it is, but you all now know it's snow. And on your board, you've got to write a one-word clue to get them to think of the word snow. You might write white, or cold, or ice, and things like this, or precipitation, whatever you're going to write. But the problem is that if you write the same clue as someone else, those clues get cancelled. So if it's snow and you write white and someone else writes white, when you then, before the person has a look at the clues, look at each other's clues, the whites get turned down. And so you might be playing with 6 people, where 5 people are given a clue, but 3 of you have written the same clue. They all disappear. And so the person has only got 2 clues to go from. So you've got to really think your clue has to be good enough to get them to the word, but not so obvious that other people are going to write it. But what then happens is that nobody writes the obvious clue. So you might think, I'm going to write white because I don't think anybody else will. And then when no one does, you're like, yes! But when someone else does, you're like, aye! And as a team, can you come up with good enough clues to get people there? It's never failed. I've never played Just One and it not worked. And you go to conventions and they're playing Just 100 or something they call it, where they get 100 people in the room all playing Just One together. They make their clues, they get written on a screen. Half of them get cancelled because they're copies of others. Are there enough clues left for someone to get to the word at the end? You can play Just One on this kind of like this huge, huge level. I think it's brilliant. It's a solid, fun party game. And it deserves its place in people's tops because for me, it's one of the better party games that is around at the moment and that is doing its job. So that is Just One. And that is numbers 30 to 21. Let's just have the quickest of recaps. We had Star Realms, Targi, No Thanks, Tenzi, Splendid Jewel, Harmonies, Sushi Go Party, The Crew, Shut the Box, and Just One. That is 30 to 21 in Alex's Nifty Top 50. Alex's Nifty Top 50. Yes, indeed. If you are enjoying listening to my top games and my enthusiasm for playing them, please do subscribe. Please do tell me in the comments, have you played any of these games? Which ones have you played? Which ones do you think which ones were in your 30 to 21 if you have top 50s? Have you played the expansions of some of these? Do you hate some of these games? Do you think to myself, Alex, you are a fool for liking these games? Do you think to yourself, amen, brother, you love that game and I love that game too? There are games in there for everyone. I hope we've got family games, deeper games, light games, party games, all kind in there. I've really enjoyed today. I've really enjoyed it very, very much indeed. And I will hope to see you tomorrow when we will be going through numbers 20 to 11. And then the following day, the big one, the final, the top 10. I will see you soon. Thank you very much. Keep playing games.